of the few remaining Indians. And your little dog, too. Humanity can enthrall generations with uncountable tales far more appalling than these. It's become our specialty. No one knows who discovered the harmonies, those fragile balances between good and bad, between the proper world and madness. The proper world has always been elusive, but madness lies just outside the window. And history comes down to just things we say, some that happened, some we make up, some left out of the wanted lapses of time.
Very good.
Visual aids. Mandalay photograph. This is the Mandalay in Myanmar. That's me on the left, looking so comfortable, and my husband Vic on the right. He was Army, out of uniform, guiding tourists for a few extra bucks, listening for sedition between stops. He would have been a decent human being in the right circumstances, which these were not. But he stopped on the stone bridge when we asked to take our picture, and with practiced eyes trained the bridge against the moat and templed mountain in the distance, putting us in the center of it all, capturing our pleasure at being there and our pleasure at being there with each other. It's not a great picture. I've looked thinner. I've been thinner. But Vic is radiant against the sky in the confidence of his pose. When I close my eyes to summon Vic's face, it comes a bit at a time, and I never get all the pieces right. A face learned by heart for over 27 years. How extraordinary to need a photograph now to recall exactly how he looked. Clarity comes in an instant and unexpected. What I remember clearly are gestures, some small action that was ignored at first. Not ignored so much as unnoticed. The way he lifts his head slightly, looking up and away, as though unaware of the camera, or releases his lips into the luring smile that pulls shade out of the time of day. I hold the photo in my hand, picked off the floor where it slipped from the album. It's a relic, like me, like Vic, taken with a camera instead of a phone when those were separate ideas. My index finger gently wipes a faint smudge from his cheek. Handsome still. I don't have enough words to write about this. How does one explain a hallowed self? How can words describe an emotion so vast? Even its form eludes recognition. I touch his smile and beg passion to leave my finger, to leave whatever is left standing of the old body. I was told time would become my friend, and I believed my friend would empty me of longing. I was wrong. Time empties nothing. This is my final poem, I warn you. It's from a long poem. This is the 14th part, the last part. In a way, this is my anthem. This poem explains everything I've learned about life. You can see it's rather short. I tried to write this part many times, and it failed every time. It didn't make sense, didn't sound right. And one morning I sat down to try again. And suddenly the words started to come one after the other. I didn't write it all in a flush. I mean, I did go back and adjust it, but it says more precisely than anything I've ever written about my understanding of being here. David puts things in their place. I choose to stand on this spot, and suppose I can pick any other place to stand if I want, if the shade or light suits me better somewhere else. For all my trying, I've never found the words precise enough to understand this choosing, or to name the little space where I'm drinking coffee this morning, or the place where tonight I will go to sleep before closing my book, or all of the unimagined places in between that will become this one day, which I travel with such deliberate purpose, even I can't tell you if I've always known the way or am learning it. I thank you all very much for coming to the reading today and for listening to me read my poems. Thank you.
Well, David, we thank you. I want to give everybody an opportunity here. We love to go around and just say a little something. So please, anybody just take the lead, and we'll spend a few minutes here just thanking you for such a wonderful reading.
By the way, I knew this was going to be beautiful, and it was. Thank you so much, David. I just love your work.
Thank you, Bob.
I love some of the imagery, a lot of the imagery, and the lovely lyrical quality of it all, and how elegant it all was. Lots of meaning, of course, lots of depth, and it was just great, wonderful work.
Thank you.
David, I was so glad we finally found our way in, and as always, I'm amazed in my heart.
Thank you, Ken. I'm glad to see you. I didn't see you come in, Ken. Patty.
We snuck in, finally. We finally found our way into the trap door. We had trouble with this. Anyway, it's so good anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. You bring such beauty to our world. Thank you.
Thank you.
David, your poems are just profound and still so personal. And you use such normal language to talk about such complicated things. And it just sounds normal, not normal, but it just sounds comprehensible. Listening to your voice, which is just sort of, magnetic to me anyway, and just following it along like waves on a river. So I love this kind of stuff you write, and I really like hearing you read it too. And the journals that haven't published you, they're lost.
I
love some of your observations, David. I didn't take the time to write them down, but I also love that you've been rejected by the best publishers, and that you admitted it, and that you keep on sharing with us. We love you.
Thank you.
David, I echo everything that's been said so far, and I want to say that the poem on the bridge, the photo on the bridge, really moved me. Your thoughts about you and Vic, and thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I had really admired the way you handled the long poem. I thought that poem about Beethoven, about the Ninth Symphony, was quite wonderful. And I've been reading a lot of Milos recently, and he's a big promoter of long poems, and yours, I look the way it stands. It's got pieces, but they stand up, each one of them, and they kind of build to some climax. And there are some unforgettable lines, especially the one I wrote down. Human beings haven't had a good year in a long time. I'm going to read that long time, you know.
Apropos, yeah.
Yeah, David, it was so beautiful. It's almost a shame to try and put into words how beautiful it was. That last line, bridge poem, time empties nothing. That hit me so hard. And it was so poignant about your love, but it also just is so true, applying to so many things that, you know, you think time's going to make something dim. And I just thank you for that line. And thank you for so many of these beautiful poems. Yeah, I'm speechless. So thank you.
Thank you.
David, I love thinking of as a musician, I love thinking of the idea of a sound being humble. And that one was meant a lot to me. My favorite advice I ever got as a musician was be impressive through impact, not through impressiveness. And so you have to have a humble nature, especially when you're playing and listening to those around you. So to hear you refer to a sound as humble is something that's been in my heart for decades. So it's nice to see called out elsewhere.
I have to tell you that I was just sitting here listening to these poems and was so grateful to you for them, and so grateful that I came to California. I was able to hear them, or I never would have heard them, and they just do something for me. that much poetry doesn't. So I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Mary.
David, were you through, Mary Kay? So beautiful, David. You are so beautiful, and such a gift to us. Thank you for your poems, and I can only tell you that I wanted you to read more. And I was like, don't stop. I feel hungry for your voice. I feel hungry for your voice, and I'm so grateful that you read for us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ina.
David, I echo that. And thank you so much. You're a consummate truth teller.
Yes.
And your sense of humor is just, just right on the edge, and really quite exquisite. And I can't imagine where you've been sending your poems. That they've been rejected. I mean, what is the matter with those people? But there was a mention at the beginning of a new book this year. Could you tell us something about that?
Well, it's called Still Life with Coffee, which is the name of one of the poems in it. And it's being published by Chris Buckley's Brandenburg Press. I'm hoping to get to California in April and May.
Good. How exciting.
Hope to have it ready when I come.
That'd be great.
It will be very limited edition because they have carry.
David, I wanted to say one thing.
Online? Can we get it online, or through some?
I don't think so. You'll have to get it from me.
Oh, okay.
When I come.
Okay.
And David, you're always saying that you're a narrative poet, and indeed you are, but you're so much more than that. Some of those things have been spoken of already, how lyrical you are, and very philosophical. And it's like you have humanity, a full concept of what humanity is. And you touch all of our hearts in such a way that is indefinable. I wrote one of the phrases down. Optimism is a poor strategy for immortality. And I want to remember that. That is so wonderful. So many lines. Thank you, David. You're a gift to me.